Hey guys, sorry for the wait. It took me a second to get used to this new platform. So my try something new this week is trying out YouTube Live. Yay! Welcome everyone who made the leap from Facebook to YouTube. So today I'll be teaching a reach flow. We're going to be reaching in all directions, arms out, legs, everything, crown of the head. Are you excited? It's 60 minutes. If you've got props, great. If you don't, that's totally fine. I'll be shouting out some modifications that you can do. Some things that are nice to sub for props are a blanket, like just a regular couch blanket or pillow, books for blocks, like big books, or like a shoe box or something. Yeah. My name is Genevieve Marino, and we do these community classes as an offering for you, for your well-being, but also to raise awareness and to raise money for certain charities and our Providence and New York City communities. So I'm broadcasting from New York City. My colleagues, Matt, Anthony, and Trent, they live stream from Providence. So I just had been shouting out a local New York City group of neighbors called the Crown Heights Mutual Aid Group, and they're awesome. If you donate money to them, what it goes to is reimbursing people who buy groceries for their neighbors who maybe don't have enough money for groceries, or maybe they can't get out and purchase the groceries for some reason, and supplies in general. And so it mainly goes towards families who were affected by COVID-19. A lot of those families are people of color. So if you want to help out your neighbors, let me know. We have a new Venmo handle. I believe it's at the Glitter Goddesses, but I'll make sure I put the correct one in the comments below. All right, guys. You ready? We're going to start out in child's pose. You can have knees together or knees a little bit apart, whichever you like. And you're going to drape your chest over your knees. If you like, you can put a pillow, a block, a blanket, whatever underneath your forehead. That's kind of nice if your forehead doesn't reach the ground. Maybe I should move back a bit for you. So you're going to bring your forehead to the block or whatever, and you're going to reach your arms forward. And you're going to crawl the fingertips a little bit farther forward and straighten the arms. And you're going to reach the hip bones back towards your heels. Stretch the hands a little bit farther forward. And then I want you to walk your fingertips over towards the right. And you're going to breathe into that side body stretch on the left side. And you're going to walk them a little bit farther away from you and reach that left hip back a bit. Inhaling and exhaling as you come back to center. Again, you're going to walk your fingertips out a little bit farther. Maybe they go further than they did the first time. Reach your hip bones back and then walk your fingertips over to the left. And breathe. Reaching those right fingertips a little bit farther to the left. Reaching that right sitting bone a little bit further back to deepen the stretch. And come back to center. And just release. As you can see, at any point, you can deepen the stretch by reaching, in this case, the fingertips a little bit farther forward, hip bones or sitting bones a little bit farther back. So you are actually in control of all of the poses that you do tonight. Any modifications you want to take them. You can deepen the stretch and go as far as you want, or you can come out of it. It's really up to you. And the things that I provide you with, the verbal cues today, use them as you will. Don't use them. It's your practice. So you can really, you're in charge. And not that you needed my permission for that at all. All right. So we're going to come to seated, just a comfortable seat. You can sit in Sukhasana, which is like crisscross applesauce, like I would say in my class, or you can sit in Virasana, which looks like this, kneeling. It's whatever you want. I think I'll do Sukhasana today. Okay. And we're going to interlace the fingers, and we're going to flip the palms and stretch them away from us, reach them away. And then when we feel we've straightened our arms as much as we can and we're reaching them as far away as we can, we're going to lift them up. And here, this is going to get fiery. We're going to do 30 rounds of Kapalabhati breath, which is skull shining breath. It's like you're polishing the top of your skull. And so you're going to breathe in and breathe out. And it's going to sound like an explosive, silly breath that's like you're polishing the inside of your skull. So again, straighten the arms, reach up, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in halfway, and begin. Breathe in, breathe out. Keep the arms up, nice job. Reach them a little bit to the right. And feel that side body stretch. We're going to do 30 rounds of Kapalabhati breath here. And I've heard that it's kind of like you're blowing a bug away from your face or something. It's a really explosive exhale. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in halfway and begin. Breathe in, breathe out, come back to center and let your arms come down. It's really intense. It's meant to build fire. But I found that after doing something like that, taking a regular breath is a little bit easier. Reach the hands out in front of you, and I want you to interlace your hands, your fingers this time so that the opposite thumb is on top, if you can remember which thumb you had. You're going to flip the palms, and you're going to stretch and reach them forward. And then when you straighten them and reach them as far as you can, you're going to bring them up. And again, we're going to do 30 rounds of Kapalabhati breath. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in halfway and begin. Breathe in, breathe out. Reach your arms over to the left. Last time, 30 rounds. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in halfway and begin. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, come back to center, and breathe out. Nice job. Okay, we're going to get to flowing now. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Every once in a while, I'll come over and check on the comments. Yay. All right, we're gonna come into tabletop. So that looks like this. Knees on the ground. You can keep the toes tucked or untucked, whatever you like. Your legs are hips width distance apart. Your hands are shoulder width distance apart, and they're right underneath your shoulders. And if you're not sure of how wide your shoulders are, you can always rotate the hands to face each other. And if your fingertips of your longest fingers are just touching, then you're just about right. Not the same for everybody, but that's good rule of thumb. And so here in tabletop, we're gonna do some cat-cows. So cow looks like this. You're gonna breathe in and you're gonna arch the spine, look forward, stick the butt out a little bit. And then cat is like a Halloween cat. You're gonna round the spine, drop the head, tuck the tailbone. Breathe in for cow. And breathe out for cat. And I want you to keep going with your breath. For each inhale and exhale, you're going to flow through the poses. And I want you to bring awareness to different parts of your spine. Your pelvis, maybe. Your upper back. Your neck. And see how that makes you feel. Just to kind of get used to it. And then, when you're ready, at some point find neutral, which is in between cat and cow. You're not overly arching your back. You're not overly rounding the back. It's somewhere in the middle. And then from here, we're going to shift the weight onto our left hand. And we're going to bring the right hand out, straight arm, and I want you to reach it as far right as you can while still maintaining your neutral spine and not flopping too far out to the right. I want you still kind of pulling back with that left side. So you're actually reaching in two directions. Left side's reaching to the left, right side's reaching out to the right. And then I want you, keep your eyes on your hand if you can, peel it open, and then reach it towards the ceiling as much as you can. You don't have to be all the way open, but you're just gonna twist as best you can. Keep your eyes, if you can, looking at your right hand. Breathe. Push down with the left fingertips. And come back down. We're going to move in the opposite direction by bringing the right hand behind the left hand and crawling the fingertips to the left so that eventually you can lower down and put your right shoulder and maybe your right ear on the ground to thread the needle. If you want to deepen the stretch, you can walk your left fingertips forward and just feel the twist this way. To deepen the stretch, you can continue crawling those right fingers forward. To the left, I mean. Then breathe. Slowly come back to center by bringing your left hand in and bringing your right hand back to underneath your right shoulder. We're going to do that on the left side. So double check your alignment. Make sure everything is stacked. Knees, hips width distance apart. Look at these right angles. That's what you're aiming for. Hands shoulder width distance apart. You're going to shift the weight into your right hands now. And you're going to bring your left hand up. You can't see it, but I'm reaching it towards the left. And I'm pulling in those two directions in order to maintain my neutral alignment. My right side is almost pulling to the right, while my left is pulling, my left hand is pulling to the left. I'm pushing down with the right fingertips in order to slowly open up, and I move my left hand up towards the ceiling, or maybe where the wall and the ceiling meet. Eyes stay on the left hand if you can, and reach it. You're reaching your left fingertips open and breathing. And come on back down. Then we thread the needle by crawling the left hand behind the right hand and slowly bending the right elbow to lower the left shoulder onto the mat. If you want to intensify the stretch, you can keep crawling those left hand fingertips towards the right, and you can crawl the right hand up towards the front of your mat. And at any time, you can come out of it or you can intensify it. The choice is yours. And you breathe. To come out of it, you bend the right elbow to bring the right hand back. Push down. Bring the left hand back to underneath your left shoulder. And you're going to come to seated. And then what you're going to do is you're going to come to lying down on your back. And you're going to be set up. See if this is possible in your space. You're going to be set up so that your hands can reach the long edge of your mat, like I have here. So I'm gripping the long edge of my mat, not the short edge. And you're going to lay down, and you're going to bend your knees and keep your feet on the floor. And you're going to grab the long edge of your mat, and you're going to stretch your hands away from each other. And I've kind of shifted my hips a bit so that you can see me, but I want your hips right in front of you. And you're going to stretch your arms for a nice upper back stretch and pull them apart. And see if you can maintain any length in your spine. Crown of the head is still reaching forward, and you can relax. Nice job. If you want to intensify this, you know what you can do. You can lift the feet up off the ground. So you still want to maintain the natural curves in your spine. You don't want to feel like you're crunching up anywhere. And you're just reaching your arms, your hands apart by stretching the sides of the mat for a little resistance. If you want, hover the feet, hover the knees, reach the arms apart. If you're feeling a little crazy, you can bring them over, hover over the right arm, keep the left shoulder pressing down onto the mat and stretching the arms apart. Bring it back to center. Now you have to do the other side. Bring your knees to hover over your left arm. Keep the right shoulder, the right arm pressing down on the mat. Come back to center. Stretch the hands apart and come down. If you want to do that with your knees, your feet on the ground, by all means, keep them on the ground. It is up to you. We're going to come up and we're going to stand at the top of the mat. Inhale, reach the arms up. Rise. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen. Hands can be on the shins, the thighs, What's important is a lengthened spine. Exhale, fold. Step back. For a vinyasa, you can stay in plank. And I'm going to demo the modifications today. You can put the knees down. For chaturanga, or knees, chest, chin, cobra, or up dog. Up dog is just with thighs off the ground. Cobra is you're peeling off the ground. And then downward facing dog. And we'll stay here for 5 breaths. Every day is different. Some days you might be interested in a really fiery, intense practice. Other days you need to really take it easy. This is your practice. You're caring for your body. So these are choices that you're going to make. Today I'm going to be demoing the modifications because I need to take care of my body, and the way I need to do that today is by taking it a little bit easy. Inhale, look forward. You can jump or you can step in between your hands. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach the arms up, rise, stand up. And exhale, hands to heart center. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, reach the arms up, reach, 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 reach. And fold forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step back for chaturanga, or feel free to put your knees down. Up dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. 5 breaths. And those who took my Align class last week, we talked about how fingertips are pressing down. Your hands are shoulder width apart or a little bit wider. Feet are hips width distance apart. Knees can be bent. Again, you want a long spine. Hip bones reach back. Fingertips press down. You're looking for that rotation of the armpits so that they almost could face each other. So that means you're lengthening the inner arms and you're really working or contracting the outer arms. All right, we've been here enough. Come to the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach the arms up. Rise. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach the arms up. Keep them reaching up and bend your knees and sink your hips back for chair pose. Everyone's favorite pose. You're gonna reach the hips towards the ground, but your hands are gonna reach towards the ceiling. Oh my goodness, and then bow forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step it back. Chaturanga, or knees, chest, chin. Up dog, cobra. Downward facing dog. Step the right foot forward so that it's next to your right thumb. Put the back knee down. If there was a line splitting your mat long ways down the middle, your right foot would be to the right, and your left knee and left foot would be to the left. I want you to walk your right hand and left hand's fingertips out like 10 and 2 o'clock and walk them out and reach your hip bones, your sitting bones back. Reach, reach, reach in 2 opposite directions. Inhale, look forward and come up for low lunge. You can untuck the back toes. Then reach the hands back. Move the arm bones so that they're in line with your ears. Reach the crown of the head back. and come down. Hands frame your right foot. Step it back. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward next to your left thumb. Put the back knee down, untuck the toes. Again, same foot setup. Divide your mat with your mind in half. Left foot's a little bit to the left. Right shin and right foot and knee are a little bit to the right. We're gonna walk the hands forward, 10 and 2. Like as if you had a big clock face, so they're walking diagonal. You're stretching your butt back, sticking it out a little bit, looking forward, lengthening out the spine, reaching in 2 directions, and bring the arms out and up. Inhale. Reach the arms back, the hands back, bring the arms next to your ears. Remember to bend that front knee a little bit. Reach the hands back and bring it down. Step it back. Chaturanga, or knees, chest, chin. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. 5 breaths. Push down with the fingertips in order to get the weight out of your wrists. Fingertips and like the finger pads. You wrap the upper arm bones in to face each other. They don't actually face each other, but that's like the feeling you want. So you're lengthening the inner arms, wrapping the outer arms around and back. Little bend in the knees, hip bones reaching back so that you stretch out and lengthen the side body. Look forward, get your feet in between your hands. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach the arms up and the hips back for chair pose. And stand, Samastiti, hands to heart center. We'll do one traditional sun B, and I'll talk you through the warrior one setup. It's similar to low lunge. Reach the arms up, inhale, exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, oh my gosh, I forgot chair pose. Oh, just kidding. Step it back. Yoga jokes. Knees, chest, chin. Cobra or up dog. Downward facing dog. You're going to step the right foot forward. Again, right foot's a little to the right, left foot is a little to the left. This time, you're going to keep your back knee up. You're going to spin the back heel down so that your left toes are facing, they're diagonal. Maybe they're like kind of angled towards the front left corner of your mat, but they're not facing forward, a little diagonal. Anyway, right knee is bent. Again, you're going to walk your hands out to 10 and 2 and reach the fingertips. Crawl them forward. Reach the butt bone back. Like your sitting bones, I guess. Stick the butt out. And you're going to reach the outer hips. Right and left. And then come on up. Make sure that front knee is bent. You're moving towards 90 degrees. Reach the arms up. And then bring it down. Frame the front foot. Step it back. Chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. Upward facing dog. And downward facing dog. Step the left foot forward. Back leg stays up this time. Again, you widen your stance a little left to right. So that right foot is a little bit to the right, left foot's a little bit to the left. Then, right heel spins down. So that right toes are facing maybe the top right corner of the mat. You bend the left knee, and you walk the left and the right fingertips out, reaching them further and further in front of you. You're going to, make sure your back heel stays down. You're going to reach the sitting bones back and the fingertips away from you. And then come on up. Rebend that front knee if you came out of it a little bit. Torso for warrior one is facing forward. And breathe. One more breath. And come down. Step it back. Chaturanga. Upward or cobra. Downward facing dog. Bend the knees. Reach the hips back. Push the fingertips down. Reach your forearms to the front of the room. Reach the crown of the head to the space in between your hands. Straighten the arms. Your heels of your feet, they might not be touching the mat. You are reaching them down. Someday they'll get closer, but it's okay if you're like this. It takes time to lengthen. Look forward. You're going to walk or hop or handstand or whatever you want to get to the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. This time we'll do our chair pose. Sink the hips, reach them back, and then reach the arms up. Maybe the hands touch. And then Samasthiti. Come to standing at the top of your mat, hands to heart center, and breathe. Take this moment. Also, let us know if you like us posting our videos on YouTube, if you like them on Facebook. Let us know what works for you. All right. Here, we're going to inhale, lengthen while we're standing. So I like to have a little bend in my knees just because I tend to lock my legs like this. And for me, it actually is a little bit better to have like a little bend in the knees. So experiment. Maybe that's you, maybe that's not you. You want to be like that, but okay. Then here, in reaction to your strong legs, your breastbone or your sternum is reaching up towards the sky. So your feet are pressing down, thigh bones lifting, breastbone lifting, crown of the head is lifting. We're reaching, and then I want you to take your arms at your side and reach them down. So chest reaching up, arms reaching down a bit. Now bring the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Bring your feet so that they're hips width distance apart. And here you can measure it by taking 2 fists and putting them in between your feet. And sometimes that's a good guideline for people, but you decide. Then you're going to inhale and lengthen. And I say that so many times, so I wanted to explain to you what it meant. So bend your knees a little bit. And you're going to lay your ribs or your belly onto your thighs. And I don't care if you're like this bent. Okay. Now, I want you to stick your butt out. And I want you to walk your hands forward, 10 and 2, like we've been doing in class. This is inhale, lengthen. You should feel your spine is getting longer as you reach your fingertips forward and you reach your butt back. And you look forward with your eyes. Inhale and exhale, fold forward. It does not matter where your hands go. You could stay like this and slowly, as you open up the backs of your legs, bring the hands in. If they're on the shins, if they're on the thighs, that's fine. It's about the stretch and the reach and the strength you're gaining. It doesn't matter what it looks like. Okay. Inhale, come on up. And stand in Tadasana. Step the right foot out and face all 10 toes towards the long edge of your mat so that you're in this like wide straddle. And for some people, a good measurement is feet underneath hands. For me, that actually doesn't work, but for some people, they say that's a good measurement. Now I want you to spin the whole right leg by lifting the right toes and rotating on the right heel so that the whole right leg faces towards the back of your mat. I'm going to change my stance a little bit, actually. Okay. Then I want you to bend the right knee by pushing down on your back leg and reaching the right inner leg forward, actually towards this way. It's now the back of your mat. And then torso faces what was your right side of your mat. Extend the arms. Imagine the way we were holding and stretching our mat in the beginning of class. And you're going to stretch, stretch, stretch while your legs are moving apart. Back leg is reaching this way. Right leg is reaching this way. We're always moving in two directions. Straighten the right knee. Bring all 10 toes to face the long edge of your mat. We're going to do that on the left side. You're going to lift the left toes, rotate on the left heel so that the whole left leg is facing the front of your mat now. And what I should have said on the first side is heel is in line with heel, or front heel can be in line with back arch. So then you're going to push down with your right leg. Reach forward with the left inner leg that way. Torso's facing the right side. You're going to reach your arms apart. Bend the left knee. Sternum is reaching up, up, up as tailbone drops down. And you breathe and straighten the left leg. Turn all 10 toes to face the long edge of the mat. You're going to rotate on your right heel so that your right toes face the back of the mat and your whole right leg now is to the right. What I want you to do is reach the right arm over the right foot and reach it towards the back of your mat. And as you do that, I want you to reach your left arm towards what was the front of your mat. So you're always going in two directions, and you're going to tip your torso over and reach and reach and reach until maybe you put your right hand down somewhere. Doesn't matter where. Just watch out for pushing on your knee. So it can be thigh, shin, toe, outside of the right leg, on a block. And you breathe for triangle pose. Reach the crown of the head towards the back of your mat. Maybe you spin your eyes up to look at your left hand. Push down with your front leg to come up. Turn all 10 toes to face the long edge of your mat. Now, you're going to rotate the left leg and do the same thing on the left side. That was triangle pose. So, lift the left toes, rotate on the left heel. You're going to keep your left leg straight this time, or with a teensy little bend. And you're going to reach left arm forward, right arm towards the back of your mat, and reach and tip at the hips until your left hand comes down somewhere and your right hand is going to now reach towards the sky. Reach the crown of the head forward and then up and around, and maybe your eyes land on your right hand. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bend the left knee and push down on the left foot to come up. And turn all 10 toes to face the long edge of the mat. Hands to hips. Inhale, reach the chest up. Maybe go back a little bit. And then fold at the hips. For Prasarita Padottanasana A, you're going to put your hands on the mat in between your feet. So it goes foot, hand, hand, foot. And even here, you can inhale, lengthen. And if that is not a part of your practice, you can stay here. You can stay here. And work your way. You could have a table. Like, I don't have a table, but you could stand at a kitchen table and pretend it's like this. And just work this way. I've done that many times. Make the modifications as you need them. Okay, if you are all the way down, inhale, look forward. Hands to hips. Rise up. Keep a little softness in your legs and step to the top of your mat. And face forward. Let me see. What do I want to do with you guys? Okay. You know what? Come to seated. I'll face this way so you can see it. What you're going to do is you're going to set up for pigeon pose. So I have 2 ways that I kind of like to get into it, and I'll offer them both to you. So what I just did was, say you're in a Sukhasana or a crisscross applesauce. What you can do is, we'll start on the right side. Keep the right leg bent like it is, and just swing the back leg around. Option 2 for same shape is take the right knee towards the right elbow, turn at the hip to bring the right foot as close as you can to the left wrist. Drop it down. Maybe you scoot back a little bit for pigeon. And we're going to start in upward facing pigeon. So the chest, this is actually a back bend. So chest is reaching towards the sky. If you need to, you want to pad, if you want to pad with like pillows or a blanket underneath the thigh, if it's off the ground a little bit, you could do that for support. If you're like, that's totally not going to work for me, what you could also do is figure 4, either seated or on your back, where your left leg is bent. Bring the right knee in, put the right shin or ankle on top of the left thigh, and bring it in. Same shape, right? Same shape, just back leg is a little bit different. So you're here. And this time you're reaching your tailbone back breastbone or sternum, however you want to think it, up. And breathing. And then we'll take a few breaths in downward facing pigeon. Bow forward over your front knee. And again, if you want to put a pillow or something to lean your chest on or to put your forehead on, you do so. And you breathe. If you want to think of adjustments and you have the right leg forward, what you're going to think is right hip back a little bit, left hip forward. So sort of like neutralize your hips. Right hip back, left hip forward. You're not going to have a drastic change in the hips, but that slight adjustment should deepen it. If that's something you want, if you want to intensify it or go a little bit deeper. You're going to think the inner back leg is rolling up towards the ceiling. And the outer left hip rolls down. When you're ready, inhale, come on up. And if you want, step it back to down dog. You can wait in tabletop. We're just going to move to the other side. You can also spin the right leg back and bring the left hip forward, left knee forward, I should say. Okay, if you're coming into it from down dog, you're going to bring the left knee towards the left elbow, bring the left ankle towards the right hand, plop it down wherever it lands. You could scoot your right leg back a little bit, but don't go crazy. And we're going to start out upward facing pigeon. So your tailbone is reaching back and down. And your chest, your sternum is reaching up. Again, you can pad the hips for support. You can also, if you have something, you can raise your arms up. You can have 2 blocks or 2 big books or something like this. If you want to, you're going to walk your hands forward and fold forward. And we're going to stay here for a few breaths. Option to put a pillow underneath the forehead or underneath your chest. Sometimes it's nice to drape your chest over something. And we breathe. If you like, you can think left hip back, right hip forward. Left hip back, right hip forward to neutralize those hips. And again, you can be in some sort of figure 4, seated on your back. That is perfectly fine. It does the same outer hip stretch, just with a different back leg. Inhale, come on up. You can step it back to down dog, or you can just roll onto your outer left hip and come into Sukhasana once again. Now this time, and I'll show you a modification. I do have a blanket here. Okay, so what you can do This is like a giant blanket, but it's okay. You're gonna put your butt bones or your sitting bones on the blanket. And it feels a little bit like you're sticking your butt out to me. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna come into Baddha Konasana, which means you can start with your feet on the floor, knees bent, and you're going to bring your knees apart so that the soles of your feet, like the outer edges of your feet, are touching. And your knees are stretching east and west, or left and right. If you want to intensify the stretch, you can walk your heels in closer to your butt. If you need to release a little bit of that intensity, you move them further away. And by sitting up on the blanket, that actually helps with the alignment of your spine so that you're not hunching over. So if you feel like you're a person who's rounding in the spine, a blanket, a block, just like elevating the hips a bit will help with that. Now, if you want to intensify the stretch, you're going to take your hands out in front of you, and you're going to crawl them forward and reach them forward, kind of like we did in the beginning of class. And reach, and reach, and reach. Stop when you want to, or you feel like that's your limit. And then you can fold forward. And that's just a choice. You can stay upright if you'd like. Inhale, look up. Come on up. You can stay on your blanket if you'd like, or you can come onto the floor, but we're going to do Paschimottanasana. So you're going to reach your legs out in front of you. It's okay to put a little bend in your knees. We'll do it this way. And sometimes it hurts my heels, and I actually put a blanket underneath my feet because I don't know, I have like bony heels and sometimes it hurts them. Okay, you're gonna start with your knees really bent, and you're gonna lay your ribs and your belly and your chest on your thighs, just like we did when we were in the forward fold. And we're gonna inhale, lengthen again. What you're gonna see in yoga is you do very similar or same actions in shapes that are just like rotated in space. So this inhale, lengthen is the same thing that we were doing when we were standing here and inhale, lengthening. It's the same exact thing, only now you're on the floor. So you're going to inhale, lengthen, reach the butt bones back, tailbone back, chest forward, and then you're going to open up the backs of the legs by sliding the heels forward. And if you have your feet on a blanket, then it actually slides pretty good. And wherever you get your hands, it doesn't matter. You could be here. It's actually just about lengthening the back and stretching out the hamstrings. The arms are just like a decoration. When you're done with all your inhale, lengthen goodness, you can bow forward and fold. Inhale, look forward, come on up. And you've made it. You're going to come to Shavasana, lying down on your back. If you had a blanket and you want to drape the blanket over yourself for some added warmth and support, please do so. And take this time to let the goodness of your practice sink in. Shavasana. Bring some awareness back into your body. Wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes, and roll to one side if you are ready. Feel free to stay in rest as long as you like, or slowly come up to seated. Any comfortable seat. Sit tall. Hopefully now, after the repeated motion of reaching hip bones and feet down into the ground and reaching chest, crown of the head towards the sky, maybe it feels a little bit easier after practice. You're always reaching in two directions. Bring the hands to heart center. Inhale. Exhale. Namaste. Thank you all for practicing, and props to everyone who was trying yoga for the first time. You did an awesome job. Nice work, everyone. Bye.